Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for having me here today. It's an honor. Thank you very much for that nice introduction. First of all, I want to give you a quick overview about my trip. Let's start with the gear. I had in total around 250 single items with me, which ranges from the necessary things like a sleeping bag, a tent, all the spare parts, up to the more unnecessary things like my laptop I carried with me. The only reason for that was because I had to apply for my master's degree while I was on the road. I did that in the bush somewhere in Zambia. It worked. I got accepted. And because I already did my bachelor's here, I really fell in love with statistics. Some of you guys might shake your head now. But during every day on my trip, I wrote down the numbers on how much I spent for food, how much I spent for drinking or for accommodation, and also the numbers on the left top. My total travel distance was 18,500 with an average speed of around 16.2 kilometers per hour. Also, during those 333 days, I had 214 beers. All the other numbers are very accurate, but the beers, maybe take it with a pinch of salt. You know, if you cycle 100 kilometers a day and then have a couple of beers too much, you might forget how many you actually had. Then let's have a look at the map. So I started all the way in Switzerland, went down to Greece. I had to take an airplane there because there's no ferries anymore since the refugee crisis. And then I went over to Egypt and cycled through 13 countries all the way down to Cape Town. So why did I do it? I wasn't on a self-finding mission. I wasn't bored to death. I had this urge inside me to really go out and have this crazy adventure. And then on June 19th, I was getting out of my door, pushed my bicycle out. First challenge. I had to pick up my bicycle. It was around 55 kilograms and lift it down the stairs in front of my house. And I already thought, like, what are you doing? How are you going to get that bicycle through Europe and then through Africa? So then I went down the road. My mom was holding hands with me and she was crying. She was crying a lot. And I thought, why is she crying? Should I cry too? I started crying like a baby just because so many emotions came up. You're now just leaving. A lot of people asked me questions before when I told them what I'm going to do. And those questions range from, hey, where are you going to find water? Where are you going to find food? There's none of that in Africa. Then also, I'm serious. There's people, one lady that came up to me, hey, how can you justify that the Swiss government will need to bail you out with tax money, with our money? How can you justify that? So at that moment, everything came up. But I just told myself it would be the biggest mistake if I stay home, if I don't go on this trip. So I just left. I went down Europe pretty quickly, which was for me a nice warm-up. I got used to my body, to the physical exercise, but also to cycling. I haven't cycled before. I never did a bicycle travel beforehand. And also I haven't been to Africa before. So I needed that time to mentally prepare, hey, I'm going to Africa. So, as quick as I went down Europe, I just got into Egypt. And you remember when I was looking out of the window of the airplane, I only saw desert. I tried to see something else, but just desert there. Once I got out of the airplane, it hit me like a brick in the face. Like, damn, it's hot. It was August by this time, around 45 degrees. So I was just thinking, how are you going to cross 3,000 kilometers through the Sahara? But at that point, I just had to push myself, get on the bicycle, get out there. And seriously, at that time, I was suffering. It was hot. I was sweaty. I didn't shower for almost a week. But I was having the time of my life. And now you probably ask yourself, hey, how did you do it with the water? So this was, during my whole trip, probably the biggest challenge, to be prepared for whatever comes. So do I have enough food? How much water am I going to need? how am I going to do it with the money? So how much money do I need to take out to get to the border to go to the next ATM? And where are those ATMs? Are they ATMs in Africa? So this water I got, I usually had to flag down truck drivers in Sudan because I needed around 15 liters per day. They all stopped, they all helped me. The water they gave me was straight from the Nile. Now you probably think, oh, this poor guy is suffering and drinking this disgusting water. I think at that point in time, you're just in the middle of the desert. You're just by yourself. And I think having water at that point in time is the most luxurious good you can have. Another challenge I had, huge challenge, was sleeping outside while camping. So you can imagine, I just took my bicycle out from the road away, pitched it, and then I started thinking, what if someone has seen me going off the street? What about the wild dogs that could come at night? Or what about scorpions and snakes? So the first night, I didn't sleep very well. I was just worrying, thinking, what is if something happens? But at that point in time, I told myself, hey, Lukas, you really want the adventure. So just go out there, enjoy this moment, and just trust in yourself, trust in your strength, in your capabilities. And if something is going to happen, then you have the capabilities to deal with it, to solve this problem. So just really focus on the now, focus on enjoying the moment. And don't think I crossed the Sahara in one day. Those 3,000 kilometers almost took me around 50 days. So it's just step by step. And every day, even though it was super hot, I had a lot of headwind, which was the worst you can have on a bicycle. Or even if it's raining at other parts, you know that this day is going to end. No matter how hard it is, the sun is going to set. And the next day, you have new energy again. You can get out again and just go on. So that's what I really learned on this trip as well. Now, a big question. Why the hell did I do it on a bicycle? First, I looked at it as just a physical challenge. I want to see my limits, my physical limits. But it also, as I traveled on, it pushed me into that adventure. Because you can imagine, I couldn't just do 500-600 kilometers a day. I was there, after 100-150 kilometers, I had to find a place to sleep. And that pushed me in situations where I had to sleep at police stations, in front of mosques, inside schools. And that's what I really wanted. But I guess with a motorcycle, I would just pass through it to the next town, getting a hotel. Then also, you're very close to the people, very close to the local life. So you can, every day, you can watch the people doing funny things, crazy things, how daily life works. You also see the motivation they gave me, the thumbs up, the wave all the time. And in the back, you see one guy transporting the bananas. You probably then, as I started asking myself, well, the bananas in my supermarket, they probably come from further away than just outside our border. But also, being so close to the local population, you can really feel the kindness they show towards you. I realized on this trip, no matter if you're alone, there's millions of people that would love to help you, that share happiness with you, that share this moment with you, and just have a warm heart. So it's a magical place, this world. In Sudan, the first 7 days, I didn't need any money at all. So I got into a restaurant. People just started surrounding me. Hey, Lukas. Oh, no, they didn't know my name, but hey, white guy, can we sit by you? Can we eat with you? Can we invite you? And also, when I was looking for food, I asked them, hey, where can I find a restaurant? They just came up to me, hey, don't worry, come with us. So without those people, I wouldn't have made it. It would have been way more difficult. And also the kids, you need to imagine, I'm just cycling and you have all those kids at the side of the road that wave me. So I was sometimes cycling like this to get all of them. They're standing there, hey you, Mzungu, and wave. Mzungu is like a Swahili word for white person. This particular picture was taken exactly on November 16, 2018, so 1 year ago. And I still haven't figured out why this guy in the middle is laughing so hard. But I guess it was my look that surprised him. And just what I want to tell you is, what I learned on this trip is the way you approach people, the happiness you show them, the love you share with them, a lot of it is coming back. And during this whole trip, I've never been robbed, I've never been kidnapped, no dodgy situation at all. Of course, there's some luck involved, but I guess it's a lot of it deals with how you approach the people. So just go out and smile, be open, and a lot of nice things come back to you. There were not just nice things. The most dangerous thing, you probably think now gangs and stuff. It was not, it was the traffic. When I was cycling on that road, there's this law in many African countries that the bigger, the better, the stronger. So if there's a cyclist, we don't care. He needs to go off the road. So that really put me in that position that I wanted to get off the beaten track more often just to avoid the dangerous traffic. But also, if you look at my comfort zone, at the beginning was maybe this big, and then I did a huge jump out of it. But after you're traveling 3-4 months on those roads, it becomes routine. You know where to get food, you know where to get water. Everything is so easy, and then you need that step out again, out of the comfort zone, just because it's more fun, I thought. So, rain season helped me a lot. I had to cross many rivers. I pushed up my bicycle on plateaus, up almost 3,000 meters. And also this particular moment, I was pushing my bicycle for 3 hours through the mud, got probably 10 kilometers done. And pushing that bicycle at that time, I was thinking, Lukas, why are you doing this to yourself? But as soon as I was done with those difficult parts, I thought, hey, how cool was that? What an adventure. So I was already looking again for the next challenge I could find. And the thing I just realized is all those moments that were very difficult, that I suffered, are the ones I'll tell my grandchildren later on, because those are the ones that are the most memorable. Then, of course, I did not just cycle. I also did other things. I had in total 200 cycling days, 133 days off. I climbed, for example, Mount Kenya. Probably the first guy with bicycle sandals on, because I was suffering too much with the rented big shoes. And it was never a race for me. I always thought or told myself, hey, you want to discover Africa? You want to discover the people, the culture, the religion. So don't hustle. Of course, I had the days where I pushed myself, but yeah. The big thing, what a lot of people ask me is motivation. How did you motivate yourself on a daily basis to get on that bicycle and cycle 10 hours a day? So, if you think about it, if you see me now on this road and I pass a sign like that, my motivation goes up. Because my days were like waves. Sometimes you're just happy to be on a bicycle. Sometimes it's like, when is it evening? When can I sleep again? But believe me, if you pass a sign like that, you start looking. Where is this guy? And you continue on, and suddenly it walks by you or in front of you. And that moment of just, you start realizing, hey, what am I doing? I'm in Africa all by myself, in the middle of nowhere, with a bicycle and a tent. During the day, I have the elephants passing by. At night, I hear the lions roar or the hyenas laugh. And of course, this was around 10 months into my trip, so I got kind of used to the wild animals. But it's not just the environment, not just the nature, the animals that motivated me, also the local guys. So I'm just on the road looking to the left, and I see this guy, and look at his gesture. He feels great. He's showing his swag, but actually he knows I might get into trouble. It might be a little bit stupid what I'm doing, but still, I'm going to do it. And that was for me kind of a life changer as well, or how I looked at things. Just be more calm. Just take it how it is and try to focus more on the now, especially at those road forks. Started to imagine, hey, no matter which way I go, the outcome will be totally different. So don't worry too much about the future, because there's so many uncertainties in the future, so many surprises that you cannot really plan it now. So just use that energy for the decisions of the now, and later on you will see it's totally different how you expected it to be. So as I'm getting to the end of my presentation, I didn't see the time here because they didn't start it, but I hope I'm still in the range. I'm also getting here on my trip to an end. This was in Namibia, and I was looking for my last big challenge. So I packed my bags, got 8 days of food with me, 22 liters of water, and during the whole time, I haven't seen anyone for 4 days. So just me being by myself out there, seeing rhino tracks and elephant tracks on a daily basis. And a lot of people then ask me, hey, didn't you feel lonely? And of course, you have that thought inside you, but in the end, being just out there, doing something really crazy, not a lot of people have done before you, and also just being in that moment, having those thoughts, that you can really go deep inside you because you're not distracted by anything, by any voice call or by any messages, email, whatsoever. And as sad as it was, this trip also got to an end. And I remember my last day when I cycled from Langebaan, 110 kilometers, to Cape Town. I've seen Table Mountain the whole time. And so I had very mixed emotions. I was on one hand really sad that this huge part, very important part of my life is over now. I'm going back home, going back to study. But on the other hand, very excited just to see my family again, seeing my family, my friends, and also just that backpack I was fortunate enough to fill with a lot of adventures, with a lot of experiences that will guide me now through life. So what I want to give you on the way now is if you have your dreams, if you want to go on an adventure, just really take the first step and just believe in yourself, believe in your strength, in your capabilities, and you'll do fine. So be a little bit foolish enough to enjoy life and have the wisdom to avoid the errors. With that, thank you very much for listening and have a great day.